Hey everyone, welcome again to another podcast session with myself, Chris Wall and Ricky Stoddart. How are we doing, brother?
All right.
Excellent. This week's going to be a little bit different because we've had a bit of an exciting week. As many people know, Ricky is the owner and managing director of Koi Wholesale, and I sort of work there as well from time to time. So we've had a bit of an exciting couple of weeks, really, haven't we? This is pretty much the culmination of the year, really, isn't it? This time of year.
Yeah, it's coming together. Nice time of year.
So what I want to do today is just discuss some of the varieties that we've been pulling out of the ponds, we've been harvesting. What made you go for? Obviously, when just pick one example. We're looking at Chagoy, for example. How many breeders could you have picked on? Off the top of my head, I'm thinking 5 or 6 Chagoy breeders, but you specifically honed in on Hirasawa Chagoy.
5 or 6, you know more than me.
What? Well, yeah.
Sorry to be a twat, mate.
Yeah, that was quite twattish, but yeah. Look, no, I reckon I could pull off 5 or 6 quite easy, mate.
Yeah, I'm getting there slowly.
Yeah, but you went with Hirasawa.
Yes.
Reasoning, logic, results, potential moving forward. These come in quite small, didn't they? They were
10 to 12, yeah.
10 to 12, yeah. Okay, and from memory, they've not had the full season, have they? Because they
it was a bit of a disaster with them, really.
Yeah.
So I bought 2,000 to begin with, as you do, because we had a bit of a shortage. So
yeah. So last year it was they were like, I think everyone thinks of the variety of a Chagoy as being quite easily available.
Yeah, not when the sort of main 2 producers of them decide to stop breeding them at the same time. Superb. Yeah, and when I say that, I mean sort of Marido and Marasei.
Yeah.
Marahiro is a great Chagoy breeder. He's actually my favourite Chagoy breeder, but I cannot get them individually from Marahiro. It's just Chagoy. He never lets up. I try and try. The only way to do it is to buy the Nisai, which is not what I wanted. So, yeah, he wasn't an option, unfortunately. But yeah, so I went with Marasei and say 2,000 come back in the 3.5K ponds. And yeah, I had all intentions of actually looking back the first video I did. I had all intentions of pushing them to hopefully being like 60 centimetre this side.
Yeah.
And it just didn't turn out that way. Too many fish coming in. In the end, and as I was sort of deciding what I was going to raise in them bigger ponds, I can't remember what it was in there that took precedence. Because I just thought in the end the Chagoy weren't buzzing me all that much. So I moved them to one of the smaller ponds. This is after a long period of it being overstocked, having too many in there, really, not getting it thinned out quick enough to get the growing moving. And then on top of that, I think we had a period where the drum was acting up, so there was no food going in there for quite a while we got that fixed and waited for all parts to get it going. And yeah, just silly little things like that, and it's a cumulative effect then on the end result.
Yeah, sure.
And but all that said, being the great Chagoy that they are, I mean, now we sit looking and we've got Nisai at the minute at 40 centimetres.
Yeah.
So they've done remarkably well in the small pond, and then eventually we sort of freed up a big pond again, but same old scenario, probably ended up putting too many fish in there. And despite all this, we've got, 40 centimetre Nisai, lovely bodies, and great quality. But they've impressed me, the Marasei Chagoy, this year. I say I prefer Marahiro, and if people don't know the sort of chain here, Marasei or Hirasawa, whichever you want to call it, goes by many different names. Hirasawa is the family name, so the farm name is Marasei. It's Yoshiyuki Hirasawa that now runs it, but his brother is Marahiro. Again, another Hirasawa. So yeah, when I first saw his Chagoy, it was a bit of an eye-opener for me, because the Marasei are known as the original jumbo bloodline Chags, as you know, and they do the business. However, for me, and you've probably seen this a lot, the amount of them I see that are big, like metre mark, 90 centimetres, whatever it is, they really have shitty heads. It's something I've massive pet peeve of mine. All the bone structure stuff I talk about, it's like the bone structure's not It's a weird one because the body carries the weight, but the head always seems disproportionately small compared to the rest of the body, and it's not a good look for a fish.
But they do grow with ease, don't they?
Yeah. Despite all that,
normally, like all the body characteristics we bang on about, this seems to be one of the exceptions to the rule, doesn't it?
They just crack on anyway.
Yeah.
So first sort of visit into Marihiro, and I saw these chags in this pond, and I just looked, and I just presumed naturally they would have been from that same lineage, given it's his brothers, and it's actually his dad's lineage that he created. So I looked, and I'm staring, and straight away the bodies weren't great, as in the body shape. It was the bone structures, absolutely jumping out at me. These big heads, like that's really super triangular body, big head. Great load of length, nice taper on them, the whole lot, and I'm thinking they're just
bit more power to them.
Yeah, a hell of a lot more. And so the first time I met him, I just sort of looked. I said, "This is your brother's lineage?" He went, "Part." Then he wouldn't tell me the rest.
Go any further than that.
He wouldn't tell me the rest. Still on to this day, but he really changed it with them. And having seen the big ones that he has, doesn't have the quantity. And they've got some of the skin characteristics in that they don't really shimmy up all that much, and they have that variation of colour, but mainly lighter ones. But the big ones were beastly. That massive head, it underpins everything. And so I've always tried to get his when I can. I like the Akawa Chagoy as well. I mean, they're fiercely growing, but they are the darker sort of oakier colour one.
Yeah.
And as great as they are, shape and skin wise, that does tend to attract a few more shimmers to it, that coloration. So they're a bit of a pain in the arse. But Hendon with the Marseille, so they came first time I've had them for a little while. And the first thing I noticed, I think I remember saying it on the video, the structure, even at 10 to 12 cm, looked different to what I'd seen before. The heads look stronger, and I don't know what they've been doing. Don't know if he's had one of his brother's fish and thrown that back in, or who knows.
Just tweak things like that.
They do like to keep it in the family, them boys, so quite possibly. And they look different. Just the only thing I can say, I thought they structurally looked different to the ones I've had before, and sure enough, as they started growing, that head, just all along on the head, it just looked bigger, it looked stronger. And I think you'd probably agree now when you see them, they have got a powerful body setup. The head is underpinning it all, really prominent backbones on them, and good body length. So,
not too sort of.
And then you've got
bellied out
that
as well.
Typical Marseille colour in there as well. Although, admittedly, again, why I suspect there's been change is that there was quite a few more darker ones this year than I've typically ever seen, and the same thing as well. I mean, there's barely been any shimmers. They are really great for that. His Chagoy.
And I think they do represent some fantastic fish, don't they? I mean, when you think about sort of value, character, what they can bring to the pond, what they bring out of other fish in terms of personality, behaviour, traits, and that sort of thing. They are just feeding machines, aren't they? And the tone of colour that you get from the Marseille Chagoy line, for me, it's the epitome of Chagoy, and the people look at them sometimes as a single coloured fish, but they're far more than that, aren't they?
Still never forget, it's just a great fun I got. So the father, Seitaro, still has a farm as well, which is pretty much his pension fund. I mean, what an old boy he is. In his late 70s now, he might even be 80 at this point. And I mean, he's a tough one to have a conversation with my limited Japanese and his very old man Niigata farm style Japanese as well. It's great, but one of them moments where when you sit with him, you've got at farm, and regardless of whether you can speak a single word, they'll pull you into office for a coffee. It's amazing. And he's got his koi art in there and these magnets he still farts about with. More fish than you can ever care to want kicking around his fish house, but
lots of cash.
The conversation I got out of him was that he started, so he's first generation of his farm, and started breeding koi when he was 13 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
And now between him and his sons is no doubt the biggest koi breeding entity in the world. You know, we're talking someone who doesn't actually know how many mud ponds they have.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's wild. The stories I hear about him as well from another breeder who's quite close to him, and that they've never seen anybody manage to stock a mud pond, how them guys do and get results. there was actually at one point borrowing mud ponds from this breeder that I know, and this breeder was looking after him. It got to a point where it was like fish were struggling, didn't know what to do. He couldn't get on top of it. Phones Yoshiyuki up, he shoots over there. Within 24 hours, he's got them back, and where they need to be.
I think it's probably a bit of an unfair slight on both of the brothers, both farms, Marihiro and Hirasawa, that they're just known for numbers of fish, but they do some outrageous examples. Marihiro particularly.
Yeah, scale of the operation for one is incredible. I mean, what place can you... So I can't remember what year it was. I'm sat over here thinking, I fancy some big chags. So
sure.
Me being me, I thought, let's get balls deep in it. Happy days. And I thought, I don't know, let's go for 30. See if I can get 30 sort of 70 centimetre chags in. That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And pick the phone up, and it was a bit off season really. I think it was about May time. You got 30 big chags kicking around. Yeah. Sound. That was that. You cannot. You just think of these conversations you can have with the bloke.
Probably could have said that about any variety. Like
he's literally. I know. I'm confident I could phone up today. So you got 10 1 metre chags.
Yeah. You've got to go there, haven't you? It is a wild.
When you get to know them and you see into it.
Yeah.
I mean, the work ethic of the guys alone. They're not into spending money on staff at all, and you just see the amount. I mean, you see Yoshiyuki during harvest season, and he looks like a bit of a dead man walking. To be fair, but the hours he works, it's insane. It's a hell of a place. But yeah, you're right. It's quality and quantity.
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's quality on every level, and just serious quantity of it as well. And every variety they do, like I say, they create stuff because they've got such a big operation between them.
Yeah.
They've got this pool where they don't have to go spending money on parents.
Yeah.
And their breeding skill alone. Last time I was with Marihiro, sat down, he says, I want to make big Deutsche Shower. Fair play. He says, go and have a look at that parent fish I've got in there. I'm like, fucking, where's that come from? It's just something they've had out of some random spawning somewhere that he's then nurtured, and he's going to use that as the foundation. And actually, we will need to get this picture. Even the old man, so walks in there one year, and I'm looking around, and there's these. They look like Kiki Kukuru, insane, but they're sort of linear scales down the line.
Yeah.
Well, that's not that. Not quite sure. Anyway, he gets the old boy in and says, "What are these?" Obviously in Japanese.
Yeah.
And he starts rambling, and I'm thinking, have I lost the plot here? I cannot pick a word of this out. He's firing this, and it did not stack up to any variety name. In the end, and this is where koi breeders can get a bit crazy, Uguisu Shigure was the name.
Right, so some sort of a Chiba based.
Because I thought it was, they breed Kugani Chiba.
I
thought it was some sort of descendant of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was actually, and then registered, I got a bit of help. It was a little bird, and Uguisu is this little bird in Japan.
Right, okay.
It's got a blushing sort of yellow body, or yellow and grey body, which sort of matched the colours of that. So, that was the old boy claiming stakes on a new variety there that's never quite come to market, folks.
Yeah, sure, It's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
It's just, you could just see at that point how proud he was, and just absolutely loved this concoction he'd come up with.
Yeah.
Or one of the lads had come up with, and he taxed him for it. Either way, I'm not sure. But I know we've gone off a bit on a tangent here, haven't we? But
no.
Honestly, these guys, it's insane. And like I say, he started this, and we'll bring it back to the Chagoy. So Mara say that the father was the pioneer in these single coloured jumbo fish. There was the Japanese market was not there, and he was laughed at by the Japanese when he started doing this. All them years back, whenever it was, he created this lineage, these single colour fish, and they just said, what are you doing with them? It was really looked down upon, and very shrewd, smart bloke. And what happened? The European market came, the international market came, and fell in love with him. And there you have it. The man who was the man for him, and still to this day, the main one, on top of everything else that they're doing. Honestly, you cannot comprehend. You've seen it, but for people listening or watching, just the scale.
Well, when you're out next month, I think we'll have to get a bit.
Absolutely.
If you can get
absolutely
the old man and obviously I know you'll be heading over to see Marahiro. That's a given. See what you can dig up.
Yeah.
And when I say dig up, it's literally
well, there's that many fish in pond. You do have to sort of you dig through with net.
You see a fish once, you won't see it again for about an hour.
That's a real problem. It stresses me
out. I know, because you're sitting there thinking there's some mega fish in there, but you might have only just caught a glimpse of an eye.
Yeah.
And then for another 45 minutes.
Seriously, and just coming back to that quality part, I think this is something Marahiro tried to do to sort of separate from that image that Marase potentially had. And in all fairness, he has taken things to another level with some of the stuff he's producing. And I mean, that round pond that he has,
it's ridiculous.
Hands down, the best collection of koi in the world. And I say that you've got Sakai's and Momoteros out there, which, don't get me wrong, if you put in a collection of just Go Saki together,
you're talking about variation.
I'm talking as a pond, which I enjoy. He's got so much, and some of the one-offs he produces are just frightening, aren't they? Frightening.
I mean, we had it on the cover last month for the magazine, Yuki Matsuba.
Yeah, he loves making a name. Well, you can clearly see. Yeah. Make the name. I had it down as a Hiyasagi, that one, but doesn't sound as cool, does it?
No, you can't charge as much for a Hiyasagi, mate.
But yeah, just honestly, it's a great operation. But I know say we've started with the Chags, but I just want people to kind of grasp the scale of such an because people just, the Sakai's and Moments, and they steal the headlines.
Yeah.
This place, Sakai is not close to operating on this kind of scale. And if Mizuogan's, it's just popped into. I've got a video somewhere of the year, and I'm like, I asked him one season, I said, take me around and show me your Tosai houses, because not many people get to go and see them. And I was just fascinated to know, and sure enough, it was in a mountain I've been driving past for years. I had no idea. Opposite his fish house near Utogi Tunnel, and we just sort of shot up into this mountain, and all of a sudden there's like 5 or 6 fish houses just lined up in a row, and even one of them looked like a little old sort of shed. I'd describe it Japanese style. They're like round, dug into the mountain. Looked through there were another pond full of fish.
Yeah, love it.
And every variety isolated, separated, and then I went to another fish house I've been driving past for years, and that was his as well. And in there I had the Mizuogan pond. And I walked in.
What a sight! Yeah.
I could have just walked across the surface. There were that many fish. So how many's in here? He says, maybe 10,000. Yeah, sound. Because everybody needs that many Mizuogan.
But when you go to the main fish house where all ponds are raised off the ground, one of my first and lasting memories of like going to Japan, big green ponds. Walk to the back, walk across the planks, sort of almost fall into the ponds about 10 times.
Complete death.
And then just a wall of sort of 70 to 85 cm Mizuogons lined up along.
Epic, innit?
Oh, man. What a sight.
Yeah. And he just does. It's like they don't want to ever throw it away.
Yeah. You sort of wonder, and you know that they're stashed somewhere else as well. So when they're moved.
They're queuing up in mud ponds.
Yeah.
This is Marahiro again. It's the only farm I ever know. I've been there out in the summer in June when everyone's busy breeding. He's harvesting Nisai ponds and bringing them back indoors. And you just think, what are you doing? It's insane.
I think he's doing all right for himself, isn't he?
Yeah.
Probably a couple of the operations that are like...
It's just that this is a bit of an insight. So when I set up, there's not many people know, set up an export company in Japan some years back. And obviously that's the side I was quite keen to sort of get into.
Yeah.
So it's just a simple process when we're basically preparing a shipment. You have a payment file of what amount you got to pay breeders before a shipment, and the one that was top every single time, regardless, was Marase.
Yeah.
Every single shipment, don't matter, he was top. You got Dainichis on there, NNDs, everybody else that sells super valuable product, always top.
Yeah.
Because he's got every base covered. A lot of dealerships can't actually probably survive without them guys.
Yeah.
Can't see it.
Yeah, awesome. We have gone off topic a little bit, but yeah.
I can enjoy talking about them guys.
Yeah, it's good fun, isn't it? Sort of, what goes in to just one variety that is considered by some people to be a fairly bland variety. It can just be such an exciting journey.
And for me, like I say, where it started to be, it's one of them typical stories. The guy was almost laughed out of his own country for doing it.
Yeah. And who's laughing now?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And he was an absolute, some of the stories I heard about that old boy back in day.
Yeah, he's sort of nicknamed, I've always sort of from the early days, a bit of a don of the mountains, isn't he?
Yeah. We'll leave it there.
But yeah, great characters
and great
place.
Yeah, great Chags. I'm going to say cracking result with them this year. So
could have been better, could have been worse, but overall pretty happy with them, mate. I mean, the quality speaks for itself. So obviously, if you're looking at the video that we're going to have on the screen now, you can sort of gauge that. It's a bit of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Every pond, there's that saying, is it? Every pond should have a Chagoy, and I probably agree.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So next, we're going to move on to a variety that probably a lot of people won't be that familiar with, and probably a lot of people will be going, "What the hell are they?" Akawa Aragoke. So obviously Aragoke, for those that don't know, sort of armoured scale, like a mirror style koi, if you will.
Yep.
That's probably the easiest way of describing it.
They're doits.
Yeah.
With scales.
Yeah.
This one I keep, this is my favourite little one to sort of tell people this.
I know what you're going to say, yeah.
The Japanese have spent decades perfecting doits, and in their eyes, doits is at the very most a few scales down the dorsal line. That's where they want to be. They have spent decades doing it and getting the quality. And then probably in the past 5 years or so, started breeding the scales back on. It's just epic, isn't it? That's just how things change. It's the trends that will come along.
Seems completely counterintuitive, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But this is the market that they're in. And
the visions that these guys have as well. But don't get me wrong, I think they're brilliant.
See, they're really divided opinion, aren't they?
They're always
they're Marmite. They're love or sort of hate.
This is what, and this really does get me go a little bit. This one in this whole love it or hate it, the sort of Marmite thing, and this is where koi appreciation needs to sort of open up and change a little bit, because regardless of personal feelings towards it, you should always also learn to appreciate it. It's in the name there, koi appreciation.
Yeah.
And it's like with golden corn, it's another one. And I am at the minute, folks, writing a cracking piece on golden corn, because I'm just getting fed and sick and tired of seeing them comments, to be honest with you, because it's understanding what's been done here and what's been done there. So I know, going off topic again, golden corn, Kanoko, that's what it's all about, Kanoko. It's one of the most random things in koi, full stop. And don't get me wrong, it looks messy. I agree. But when you actually see Kanoko in full blossom on something, you've got to appreciate it's a one in fuck knows how many fish. And it's rare. It's really something complex, and to really appreciate in some kind of way for its complexity and its rareness. And then the fact Taniguchi's gone and done it and created one of the most random things in koi, actually stabilised it into something he can produce year on year with them traits is remarkable.
Yeah, they get big.
And they get big.
Yeah.
And you sort of see, it might not be for you, it might not be something you want to swim upon, but appreciate creating all them one-offs with this blossoming Kanoko and doing what they're doing, and the experience of them coming from pure white fish into what they are. That's what I'm really appreciating. And the fact is, I like them as well.
Yeah.
But I'm appreciating what's been done there and how hard it is, and how rare and unique and one off each one of them is, as you sort of see in them prime examples.
I think all too often you get a lot of these throwaway comments, don't you, with no real education about the subject.
Aragoke the same, but this doesn't on. I hear people say it about Shisui and things like that. Well, a lot of Shisui do look shit, but a lot look great. Whether you like them or not, when they're good, you should be able to appreciate it. If you've got
negate them.
Your skills of koi appreciation, should be able to say appreciate enough. Yeah, that's superb. I just don't want it in my pond.
Yeah.
It's maybe just the language around it, but coming back to Aragoke, that's where they're at again. What they've done, not just Japanese here creating something like with the golden corn. All of a sudden, there's something being created here that's, first of all, got quite insane bodies and big growth traits behind them, which is, I think if a lot of people, other countries get into breeding projects, they probably neglect a lot of that because they know in order to do something like, I mean, let's face it, we'll throw Black Zeus into this conversation as well, you know, just to mix it up and go off topic even more. Dainichi's version really of Aragoke, but it's a Deutsch Ginrin as well. So here I'm thinking, if you actually look at what's been done there and we say it out loud, you've got Deutsch. That's hard work in itself, getting that to grow with some sort of body form as well. We've got the Aragoke style, which, they've been producing some size, but it's another level of sort of inbreeding, if you like, to produce it. And then we've got Ginrin, another thing that's known to slow growth. Yeah. They've mixed all that together and produced something that grows, seemingly from what they're doing, huge, with monstrous frames. It's remarkable. Whether you like it or not, appreciate what's just actually been done there. You know, I think to get the complexity.
I think genuinely a lot of hobbyists think that these sort of, I guess you could call them new varieties, whatever you want to call them, these new varieties are just sort of a fluke, but there's structure behind it, you know what I mean? Like
that was the big one. I don't want to ruin my article, but that was the big one with Taniguchi. All everybody saw last year was the golden photo. Presumably, he's thrown some stuff together and produced this fish, and he's mugging everybody off.
Fluky bastard. Yeah.
12 years of work.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from anybody.
No.
And again, not to go too far in, but 12 years of work where a guy has had to actually produce the parent fish from nothing. Because you can't just go out there and think, I'll get a Kwaku and another Kwaku from there. We've got Kwaku, fantastic. He's had a vision and then actually had to go and somehow create the parent fish to then stably produce the fish. Remarkable stuff. And if you look at all this, you know, like say the Dainichi Zeus, there's a lot to appreciate. Because, it's not just a Deutsch, Ginrin, bloody Komonryu, however they are. You see the bodies alone. This is a body that's been done on a level that some people can't produce Gosanki to. That's what I love about all this stuff. You know, they've done that, and in the eye of how they see koi, they've got that bit nailed, first of all, then added these layers of complexity on top to produce these one-offs. I mean, already, they're good fun, depending what you're into koi. They're Komonryu, deeper art, so I've had all that this year. I bought ones that look stunning, that are currently Snow White, and then I'll get the bit coming through, but who knows what's actually coming back through. All part of the fun if you're into koi in that way. It's a bit I do enjoy. So but look at what they've done, and Aragoke are in that same thing. There's just this uniqueness to them that every one of them is a one-off, because we're looking at different unique colour patterns, scale patterns.
That's what I was going to say. What surprised me, or not surprised me, but the thing that I like about them is the variety of colour tones. And then you've got single coloured, then you've got two tones, then you've got this sort of metallic effect on top of all of that, and like you say, the randomness, well, not randomness, but the style of the scale placement as well. So
absolutely,
there's, with that in mind, it's something new.
Yeah, my koi appreciation knows no bounds. I get everything, you know, when I see it. I try and look and see where the vision is, because that's the important part as well. Sometimes it's not always looking at what's directly in front of you. You know, when those Aragoke arrived, there was multiple people sort of looked at me and said,
well, it's a hard sale, wasn't it, to be honest with you?
Was you one of them? I can't remember.
What?
Looking at me like I got 3 heads.
Well, I often do that, but yeah.
It looked like a tank of ghost koi, didn't it?
That's probably the best way of describing them.
But where was I at? Said to everybody, give them time. I had a quick look, and I knew they'd grow just from looking at them, and it was just one of them. I knew size was going to be their friend, because the scale pattern would come alive with size as they got bigger. Sure enough, it's exactly what's happened, and they just, I think they're great.
They're super popular as well, aren't they?
I mean, the gold ones just look insane. Really insane. And like I say, you've got all these different scale patterns to go at, and let's face it, most koi keepers are looking for something different. Because let's say you get used to the same old shit, it gets a bit boring all the time. You know, you're building a collection, and I know even now there's high-end collectors that are seeing the Zeus stuff and saying, yeah, I need something different in my collection.
Yeah.
And that's what then the Dainichi appeals to, because you can have serious qualities in that body and things like that, but have something different as well. I love it. And hats off to them. I hope they keep it coming, because it keeps it fresh, it keeps it exciting.
Yeah, what's your understanding of them then as a variety? Is this going to be one of those ones where they pop up and they disappear, or do you think they're here now?
They've already been for a long time. So if we look about these ones I've got have come from Okawa.
Yeah.
Now, he's not really opened up yet. I'll keep trying to press, but I've called him out and said, have you bought these parent fish from Oyama? Because they look like Oyama's been doing these for a while now. Christ, I remember him back maybe 2015, somewhere around there. The first generation.
Yeah.
And
just not in numbers
even then
or
I
quality.
was intrigued. So all I remember was these tankish like fish swimming around.
Yeah.
I thought they're pretty cool. And it's not a farm that many deal with outside of Japan. So they look very similar in the colour, in their sort of colour traits. And guessing, the speed a cow has come up with them, he's probably gone and bought a set and produced from there. But who knows? But yeah, if we look at the main ones, been Ikarashi. I say Ikarashi now, this is Ikarashi Kazuto, as most know him, but it's not that, because he's obviously passed away. Ikarashi Toshinobu, the sons took over, so that is a conversation. He just likes to be known as Ikarashi now. And he's basically obviously flipped that farm on its head. The one place you could go, well, not say one place, but it was mystical, weren't it? That little Kazuto's place, Gosanki, on a level, it's just fascinating place. And I'll never forget seeing in his garage, it was just trophies that had become like they were falling over each other. Just like he won one and threw it in, like there's another. And crazy. But the son took over, and we all sort of wondered where he was going to head. He's a bit lively, Toshinobu, to be fair, quite into. He's got all these weird trucks, and he's even by Japanese standards, he's quite out there. And he started prattling around year one. I bought some Kogani Chiba that year. And they were tanks, and he's just gone. He was doing Benny Komonryu and all sorts of stuff, and the Gosanki, I think it's there a bit, but mainly phased out now. But he's become a leading force with these Aragoke, Godzillas as they call them. And wow, he's got some serious stuff. But talk about, that's probably why you've not seen many of them at market prices. The last time I was there and asking, wow.
What, even scared you off, mate? Bloody hell, jeez.
Honestly, I just thought, that's it's just mental.
But
again, everyone has got their individual.
That's one thing really you can't really argue.
Now you've got them with metallic, you've got them with Ginrin. There's just all kinds of shit going off for him, and they're fascinating. But he's got the body. It's just this overriding thing. He's got the body. It's a pinpoint and a focal point to him.
It's probably is a real.
I couldn't get excited about it.
It's a bit of a stick in the throat, because it's sort of like one of those eye rolling moments. But obviously with the appearance of Windows in recent years, just adds that other dimension to viewing the fish, doesn't it? I mean, these big armored style.
They look insane.
Scales, they look pretty wild when you're looking at them in a bowl or in the pond.
Yeah.
But then sort of obviously looking at them in a different mindset, it just keeps the interest alive for a lot of people, doesn't it?
That's what it's all about, Chris. We know that. And this is why, if it were just down to, certain circles, you just have Gosanki ram down your throat all the time, and everybody would be completely disengaging with RB.
Yeah.
So, I hope they all keep it coming.
So obviously limited numbers with those.
Well, on that note, I think we should move on to my pond of Longfins.
Well, a
few people out there listening will be having a seizure at this point.
They will be, mate. Yeah, but isn't it? Just one more bit on the Aragoke side of things. As much as I love Longfins, you can't
stop thinking about Longfins now, though, can you?
I bloody love a Longfin.
Got you going. There we go.
Yeah, good. Gets my juices flowing. But joking aside,
there it is.
Oh yeah, here it is. Joking aside, as far as longfins go, they're pretty nice.
They are.
Condition wise,
You've got to appreciate it.
the amount of dealers that have gone, they're actually quite nice, Chris. And I've just gone, well, you don't normally see them like this.
All people's used to seeing is shit ones.
Yeah, scabby sort of split fin sort of things. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're not for the purists, we know that, but they do serve a purpose for a lot of people. A lot of people do enjoy them. Guilty pleasure.
They sit.
I like Girls Aloud as much as the next guy, but I don't want to tell people about it, mate.
It's going off. You'd be fascinated to know how much longfins have played a part in some seriously big lineages over years. There's something quite special in that blood.
Yeah.
Shinoda being one. Shinoda Hi-Utsuri has got longfin in its heritage.
Yeah.
It really has.
That's news to me. But it's, speaking of which, if I don't think anyone doesn't know that you haven't had a pond of Hi-Utsuri, but to be fair, mate, geez, you do raise a nice Hi-Utsuri.
I mean, that pond is quite the opposite of the Chagoy, so pond's had a roadmap from day one. From the minute they came in, I was on it, focused, and nothing has deterred it, and you're seeing that in the results
but
now.
You'll see a little glimpse of them when they, on the TV, on the screen here, when they come in. I mean, that's some vision, some sort of... when they come in, even I was sort of like, oh, mate, what have you done here, sort of thing.
Like the Mad Professor.
Yeah. No, but obviously,
it is
normally not seeing them that size before.
Yeah,
and getting hold of them at that
people are used
size
to
as well.
This is why when in the market, people are saying, I want one that's blood red.
Yeah.
You know, don't get me wrong, that's what I've achieved, but you've got to remember that it's something that can be manipulated quite easily.
Yeah.
If needs be. If I'd have kept them cooler all summer and really, really hit them hard with colour food, or even gone, as far as the Saki deep red,
change the
they
appearance.
look even far more than they are now. With a lot of Hi-Utsuri, it just naturally gets there with time. Issue is people want them at 30 centimetres looking like that.
Sure.
I know Marasei, again, because he does make a nice Hi-Utsuri, did them last year.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So you did them last year, and at the time, we were pretty blown away with the results there.
But can't knock
this
them.
year, obviously, Shinoda being the go-to Hi-Utsuri breeder, you pivoted a little bit and went down that route. Obviously, cost was a bit more.
Yeah, and
getting
them's not easy either.
Exactly, this is what I mean.
Really
so, that obviously had some influence on what had to be achieved, because ultimately, as much as we're quite flippant the way we talk about fish, it's a business. There are decisions behind things and there's a reason for doing everything that you do. But these things, I mean, even like the fish at all stages, because obviously we can't keep 1,000 Hi-Utsuri, physically haven't got the space. So at each stage where the selection process, I'm looking at these fish that are going out at 15 to 18s, 20 to 25s, 25 to 30s, 30 to 35s. At each stage, they're sort of fish well on par, if not in advance of what
so kept them all along.
And we've spoken all along about good luck trying to go to Shinoda and going, right, okay, I'll have... It's not easy.
No, it's not, because it's so competitive there. I'll be interested to see how it is this autumn, actually. Because things are looking... I'm not quite sure how it's going to pan out, but... Yeah, and it's fascinating. I think the standard they've been raised to is on par with the best of what he'll raise. It's not a farm that I've actually been impressed at for a long time during the Nisai harvest. Because he has a habit of stashing a lot of stuff away. So what's actually on display available to buy is not the image of sort of Shinoda you're holding in your head. But I think the ones I've got do pose a few questions though as to what he's doing during his selections.
Good for our customers.
I'm delighted with it. It's just shown again how them genetics and lineages and these big brand breeders do, why they carry the weight that they do, because they've ticked so many boxes.
I think that's a great point. Is fulfilling that potential is sometimes something that a lot of hobbyists don't. A classic scenario, I've got a nice pond, nice fish, feeded fish, a couple of bags of food over the summer, but the next year they're still feeding that couple of bags.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're not constantly advancing and progressing the development of the fish.
Yeah.
So then obviously you never see that potential, or you never realise it.
It's all
you never really give
it
it a chance, you know.
No.
But when you do expose them to scenarios such as up at Koi Wholesale HQ, you really unleash that potential. And the classic scenario last year was Marasei Hi-Utsuri. Great results, don't get me wrong. This year, Shinoda Hi-Utsuri, genetic side of things, body,
it was the body.
pigment, and it's a game changer.
I knew the minute they arrived, even as small as they were, the bodies were different. Could see it, and the minute they got a bit more size, just become more and more apparent. The sort of sumi quality as well was just on another level, and I'm still every day when I walk in there. I'm just
it's a sight to see.
It's down to the last 30 odd pieces now, and I don't think I'll particularly be letting many of them go, because I fancy pushing them on next season and seeing where they head. Cause
it's always that question as well. So, you know, how you're not going to be able to guarantee that you can do that again.
Did not tell you about the ones I've just bought.
Right, there you have it, folks. A world exclusive. And let me guess, have you gone fairly ballsy?
No, I've actually been quite steady this year.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, I managed to get a sort of higher quality level
to
start,
but fewer,
just so I haven't got as many, to be fair, because I'm worried they're going to sort of burn everyone out with them eventually. But they were too good for me to not to not go for another stab. Just I think they're superb.
Yeah, they do look awesome. I had the camera out this morning, and they're just wild, mate.
Yeah, super happy, but good results, and I can't wait. Actually, we're planning on putting when we've done the last bit of filming, so it's likely to be end of November when I'm sort of calling time on the growing season with what's left. Hopefully going to put like a documentary video together to sort of put the whole process in from start to finish, and I can't wait to see it all stitched together, to be honest.
Always known that they've been like a sought after variety, but the popularity has not surprised me, but it's been a bit reassuring, because like you said, how many Hi-Utsuri does one company need? Quite a lot, apparently. But the demand for them's got no real let up at the moment, you know. Which just tells me that quality has been missing a little bit.
Well, I know even from what I've done, that pond is inspiring people who's never thought about having putting an Hi-Utsuri in their collection, which is awesome. You know, because that's again, it's exposure to them quality levels that can create and change impressions and illusions and all the rest of it. So long may it continue.
So I think we're probably both in agreement they're up there in terms of success stories.
Yeah, well, it's done exactly well. I mean, they're getting on for about 50 centimetre now. What's left? Another few weeks, we might get odd one cracking on towards 55 cm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But even the size at that point, I mean, he hit 50 centimetres. Shinoda himself didn't have many in his size.
Yeah.
So going above and beyond it, it's happy days.
And another variety that I've got a real soft spot for, and to be honest with you, when I set off in my koi journey, not really a variety that sort of appealed to me. Always liked them, but never sort of really been, never a standout variety I think of. Karashigoi.
I think that's a whole other video on its own, isn't it?
Well, I mentioned it now, so you got to say something.
Well, they're epic.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, again, I don't know how many Karashigoi one person needs. I feel like they're
quite
everywhere.
A lot, yeah.
But end results are phenomenal. This Akawa line is really something.
This is what I wanted to get on to.
Don't get me wrong, I'm out there. Your Sakai, the sort of line they've done is, and Kanishi, but this is a fusion of the two. And they're epic. Just cannot wait. Again, not to say too much about them, but the Sanzai example I'm currently raising from last year's batch. Yeah. When people do get to finally see that and what I've done with that in the past 6 months, I think is going to about say all it needs to. That's just I'm grinning even now. It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
really is. That is some lineage which was serious. Like the fukurin, the age at which that fukurin's developed, it's crazy.
Really nice tone to them as well, aren't they?
Lovely colour.
In terms of coloration.
Just huge growth potential, great colour, and they're accessible.
Yeah, so obviously you mentioned the Sakai Super Mango style, but
it's great that
good
in
luck getting hold of
Kanishi.
them.
You can't get
and
Kanishi fishing country.
yeah.
There's some pretty sad stuff there with them.
And price orientation as well. I mean,
well, that's interesting you say that, and that's probably where we'll call it time on this one, because that's again a variety I think is massively undervalued.
Yeah.
Yes, don't get me wrong, a Karashi spawning is going to pump out a lot of yellowfish.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to leave it as yellowfish. Please just hang on them words when you're listening. That doesn't mean they're any good.
Yeah.
The good ones, by the time you whittle down, I started with 500 plus the 10 monstrous toe side that I bought, the higher level ones. What went back in the pond the other day, I think is about 14 fish, 15 fish, something like that. That's it. By the time you've whittled down, you think value. It's only really, female Karashi that carry the value.
Yeah, sure.
I don't remember. I've got a few banging males in there, but it's the female. So by the time you whittle all that down, you're left with the numbers are just tiny. And of that lot, there's one super extreme example that is really, really, really high level. The rest are very, very good. This one takes it to another level. So that's a 1 in 500, or 1 in 510, let's call it.
Yeah.
Just to give you some idea. How much is a fish like that worth, along the way? Because a lot of them have been sold at a loss, not making a lot on. Because, it's just you've got to get through them numbers to get to this end result.
To get to that cream.
Yeah, and that last year, I didn't have as many, but that one example that's carried through, they're a hard fish, really hard fish, and it's that scale alignment part.
Yeah, they need to be flawless, don't they?
Don't want to get people obsessing, but this is a real thing with them.
But that's the difference between a good fish and a very good fish, isn't it?
And I think I said it in the earlier videos, it's not something you can often see till they get to the particular size. As I've gone through these, I've really, really studied it, and my eyes, as you know, it's tuned into that stuff big time. I missed quite a lot still from selection the other day. Even then, it's took them to get to 50 centimetres for it to become apparent. So, fascinating thing, but it's just a Karashigoi when you come and see one carrying a heavy price tag. A lot of work gone into getting them where they're at.
Yeah, 100%.
We started off, they're now at the level of Kigoi basically in colour. We started with Kigoi. People wanted Kigoi to grow bigger. We created Karashi. Colour weren't quite there. Now you've got the colour and the growth genetics. It's been prattling about them for probably 20 years now.
Yeah. Superfish, it's actually, considering, I know we've both got similar views, but sort of saying, they're just yellow fish. It's one of the go-to ponds that I like looking at. So they just make me smile. I've said it time and time again.
Yeah, it does look cool.
When you just have that emotion connected to a pond, it's just awesome. But so we'll go into a bit more detail and then moving forward then, shall we?
Yeah, and like I say, there's the videos over on my Koi Wholesale channel if people want to sort of catch up and they'll get to see some end results soon. Yeah,
and then probably a couple of other standout fish. The Coda.
Getting your money's worth out of this one today, aren't you? Jesus Christ.
It's feature length, mate.
Wow.
This is a special edition. So, this is your time to shine, mate.
If someone has a dump on microphone in a minute, it's me asleep.
Thanks very much. Ginri and Achiba, mate.
Yeah.
Obviously, you specifically picked that Ginri and Achiba line. Obviously, you've not got too many to pick from, I guess, but obviously the reasoning behind it.
It's just another, again, with Japanese, not just a Ginri and a Chiba or a Chiba. They've come from this absolute top draw 94 cm parent. I've never seen an Achiba like it.
I know, it's wild, isn't it?
Its body line, everything, the way it carries itself. It's just epic, on another level of epic. Big Koi show winner as all, just superb. And the chance to get offspring from a fish like that, just jump at it. And again, not everybody, I think I'm the only person in the country, one of the few actually worldwide who managed to get their hand on the toe side. It's just constantly at breeders, what you got, what's coming, and they got offered up. So I snapped them up.
And the gin, obviously, they've got the body characteristics. Some of them are really flown, not like you say before, probably not famed for being a variety with the gin rin, not famed for being a fish in numbers or quality. But there's so many of them that got nice characteristics to them.
Yeah, the colour, they tick a lot of boxes, don't they? They are saying that's what again I love. It's not just about a variety. With Japanese koi, you've got all these different levels where you've got these different lineages, different quirks, traits, all the rest of it. Don't get me wrong, it's the first spawning off of them. But there's no way a parent fish like that. And it's, when I saw the video of the fish he was offering me, you could just see it in bone structure.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to fly. And nice to see. Another nice addition in there for sure.
So we've still got a bit of work to do. It's probably going to go down to the wire, but they're going to be offered out to your dealers.
Yeah,
in the not too distant future.
Around soon. Yeah.
So if people want to get their hands on bits and pieces, then in the coming weeks, there should be a lot of nice fish out there.
So, right, we're wrapping up. So I'm going to wet my pants.
Wow. Can we leave that bit in?
Go for it.
Right, Ricky's going to go for a wee.
It can be on another T-shirt.
I'm going to say cheerio to you guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.